What's up, guys? I'm the Wrestlegamer. Welcome back to Let's Play Time Tenshi 2 Special Edition right here on the arcade. On last episode, Rose and Kyo were both determined to talk to Mizuki and Bunny, and they darted through a time window, and so Kenji and Tessa have kind of gone after them, which explains why we are now in Australia right now. So eventually, the strange dimension between times disappeared and the Australian outback materialized around us, allowing gravity to take over, which dumped both Tessa and me on the ground. Ouch. Ugh. Fortunately, I broke Tessa's fall. Unfortunately, all I had to break my fall was the ground, and even more painful was the fact that Rose and Kyo's weapons had gotten sandwiched between me and Tessa. Ugh. Sorry about that one, Ken. I quickly pushed myself up and glanced around. We were in what looked like the middle of nowhere, surrounded by some kind of dried-out plants. A kangaroo hopped past, unaware of the unusual intruders in his habitat. Off in the distance stood the tremendous slab of rust-red stone that I took to be Ayers Rock. And a few feet in front of me stood Rose and Kyo. Unfortunately, a couple meters distant were Bunny and Mizuki, both of them smiling happily. Making matters worse was that they were both wearing quantum guards, identical to the one Neferuri had been wearing. Rose and Kyo arrive without weapons, while the other two show up a few seconds later with them. And exactly where predicted. What the? Rose, Kyo, your weapons, quick! Tess and I scrambled about, and the pink-haired girl tossed the weapons to the others. Rose looked back at us, only to turn away from the weapons and step towards Bunny and Mizuki, her hands raised in the air. Mizuki, Bunny, please, listen to me. We're here to talk, not fight. That's too bad, because we're not interested in talk. Ooh, I've been looking forward to this. Bunny and Mizuki held up their quantum guards and did something to the eye symbols on them. Together, they were both surrounded by the energies of time. Instinctively, I raised my arm to shield my eyes. Neferuri wasn't kidding. Oh, this feels so good. Oh, yes. I couldn't help but watch as their breasts expanded epically, doubling in size in mere seconds. Yep. I guess that's their version of going Super Saiyan. While neither of them changed the same way Neferuri had, I quickly realized we were in big trouble. Emphasis on big. I mean big. Speaking of big, the rapid expansion of Bunny's massive chest was soon followed by her whole body swelling up. And this is somewhat reminiscent of Attack of the 50-Foot Woman. I wonder how many of you guys out there actually know that movie. As we all looked on, the bunny girl quickly doubled in size and then continued to grow. Ooh, look out below. Ha ha ha. Going from being measured in feet to being measured in stories, she panted and chuckled with delight as her height quickly climbed higher and higher. Before long, she towered over us all, her titanic boobs swaying mightily over our heads. As for Mizuki, her body seemed to shift and blur like she was being surrounded by after-images of herself. But as the effect intensified, those echoes of her form solidified, and I realized that this wasn't some kind of illusion. The secretive ninja girl was now literally in 5 different places at the same time, each version of her taking a battle-ready stance. Ah, crap. Is this ever gonna suck? That was all that any of us had time to say as Bunny and Mizuki went into action. All 5 copies of the ninja dashed towards us at lightning speed, while the bunny girl stepped towards us with deceptive ease. Her footsteps sent shockwaves through the land and nearly knocked me off balance, although I don't think she even noticed. Rose and Kyo hurriedly gathered up their weapons as Tessa and I got back up to our feet, but Bunny and Mizuki were too fast for us. My, look how tiny you all are. Okay, hold on. The game messed up. Alright. With these booming words, Bunny quickly bent down and grabbed Tessa and Kyo before they could even try and fight back. And if you guys look in Bunny's hands, yeah. Whoa, yeah. Get your grubby hands off of me. Oh, what's the matter? Haven't quite filled out yet? Hey, no fair. I don't have a important part to boost my boobs. I don't think you should be worried about her big boobs, you big boob. As Bunny continued to hold Kyo and Tessa up off the ground, one of the Mizukis launched a couple of shurikens at both girls. The ninja weapon struck both of them, causing them to cry out in pain before they slumped over in the giantess's hands. No! Acting on instinct, Rose and I started forward, but before we could take more than a step, we were surrounded by Mizukis, each of them slashing at us with their swords. The ninjas moved too fast for us to track, and I was suddenly overwhelmed with pain, while Rose was sent flying into the air from the force of their combined strikes. Gah! Oh! Her sharp gasp of pain was the last thing I heard before I fell to the ground and darkness claimed me. No! I don't believe this. They just... Tensei Shiro. What? Starting at the sound of her own... No, again, I think it should be startling at the sound, not starting at the sound. It don't make no sense. Tensei looked up at one of the monitors. On the screen stood one Mizuki, scowling fiercely as the other four temporal clones of her gathered up both Rose and Kenji along with their weapons. I know you can hear me. That your time window allows you to see everything happening to those traveling through it. So listen to me very carefully. You developed a tool with the power to change the world, to change everything for the better. Instead of sharing this gift and using it the way it should have been, you and your helpers ignored the possibilities and let every chance of helping the world pass you by. You are a coward and kept time travel a secret and allowed it to die, forcing us to bring it back from the grave. We know from the woman we found trapped in the time window that there is danger in changing the past, but that does not justify you caving into your fears. Especially when we now know that you are aware of the future that awaits this world. But you no longer have the option of sitting on your hands and ignoring the plights of others. Not if you value the lives of your grandson and these women. The next time we contact you, you will open your time window for us and allow us to take complete control of your lab and your equipment. If you do not, then we will execute our captives, starting with your grandson. That will be all. With that, the fifth Mizuki moved to join her counterparts in securing Kenji and the others. Tensei smashed his fist against the wall. No! Oh no! 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 I don't understand. They would never. And how did they do this? How could they have known exactly where Rose and the others would arrive? It's just not possible. Oh, I think that's very possible. And I think that we both know how this happened. When I came to, it was very slowly, and I felt like I had a jackhammer going off in my head. The absolute last thing I wanted to do was open my eyes and wake up, but I did. Wanted to at least put my hands on my forehead before it rolled off my shoulders. Only I couldn't. Still too dazed and in pain to be anything more than mildly confused by my present state, I tried harder to move. But once again, I couldn't. I felt as if something was clamped around my body, just tightly enough to make sure that I couldn't move. As I slowly made my way back up to the waking world and forced my eyes open, I realized what that something was. A tremendous hand. Welcome back to the waking world, Ken. Though, I sure wouldn't blame you if you wished you were still dreaming. I looked around and saw Rose and Kyo propped up against what I took to be Ayer's rock, already bound in thick coils of rope. As I watched, Mizuki worked to finish binding their legs. I also realized that Mizuki was no longer split into 5 separate versions of herself. As I wondered if there was a limit to the amount of time a person could use one of its modes, I looked over at myself and Tess and realized why we couldn't move. So before you guys find out why they couldn't move, we're going to go ahead and call it an episode, kind of leave you guys on a cliffhanger. If you guys like the video, be sure you slam that like button like a champ. And if you guys want to see more of Time Tenshi 2 right here on the arcade, you know the way to do it. You got to hit that arcade button. You got to hit that subscribe button, excuse me, down below. Somebody's distracting me over here. So with that being said, I'm your friendly neighborhood Wrestlegamer, and I will see you next time right here on WGS-TV. Bye, guys!